everyone. Hello Indonesia Blockchain Week. Good afternoon. My name is Nathaniel Putra, and I'm from Vincent, Indonesia. I will lead this afternoon discussion about the centralized exchange versus decentralized. Okay, you good? All ready? Okay. I'll give the opening statement first, and then we can go start the debate. The digital asset trading landscape is entering a new era. Centralized exchanges continue to dominate global volume, offering speed, liquidity, compliance, and retail-friendly access. At the same time, decentralized exchanges are rapidly evolving, becoming more secure, permissionless, and community-governed. This debate aims to explore one critical question for the future of digital assets. Will centralized exchanges remain the backbone of crypto trading, or will decentralized exchanges rise to become the dominant one? Okay, we have an incredible lineup representing both sides of this fundamental question. We have Mr. Vincent from Koinsayang. Can you say hi, please? And then there is Youngsun from Flipster.
Hi, I'm Youngsun. I'm from Flipster.
Thank you. And there is Excelsior from MEXC.
Hi everyone.
And there is representing that side. There is Mr. Stephanus from BItget.
Yeah, I'm Stephanus from BItget.
And then there is Louis from GRVT. Say hi, Louis.
Hello, looking forward for this panel.
Thank you, Louis. Okay, then let's start by laying the foundation. We begin with the Jackson. Okay, gentlemen, your model is often seen as the gateway to crypto for the masses, but faces immense scrutiny on transparency and custody. Vincent, let's start with you. In a world demanding decentralization, why do checks remain the safest, most scalable, and necessary option for true mass adoption?
I would say that the transparency is the destination. However, to reach that destination, we have to say it is a centralized exchange. So I think why the decentralized exchange being optimally for new users to onboard to the market sector, which is because the centralized exchange offer like save, and also we do security custody, and also we do have easy self-onboarding. I think that's all the reason why all beginners are still using the site and stuff like that.
Youngsun, do you want to take it?
Yeah, so just to kind of get you guys on context, Flipster is a purpose exchange. We've been around the space for 3 years now, and basically we're regulated like a central exchange. So I want to kind of start off by asking some of the audience questions and see why central exchanges still are integral to any type of financial institutions or any type of financial platforms. So guys, like if you guys are around, who here uses a bank or a financial institutions to make monetary transactions? Who has ever used a bank or financial institutions to make transactions in your life? Can you guys like raise a hand if you have ever used a financial institutions, like bank, card companies, on the stage? Like
Everybody.
It's basically everybody, right? But why do we use bank when you can keep your money at a vault? Like that's safer, right? No one can take your money because banks can go bankrupt. Sometimes they did. Silicon Valley Bank, they went bankrupt at a time. Why would people want to keep their money at bank or other types of custodial or delegated financial institutions? Because it's convenient, and people like sometimes want easier access with trustworthy custodian, right? Because sometimes you feel like better than you keeping your money, the banks keeping your money is safer. So it's exactly the same thing that goes with central exchanges versus any type of decentral exchanges or custodial wallets, right? You get hacked, no one saves you. You lose your keys, no one will save you. So there's definitely the safety where you're not going to get ripped off by this gigantic player. But if you think about realistic incidents that happen within crypto, there's much more instances where you lose keys or you get hacked or you get phished versus the central exchange running. So the chances are that you're likely to be safer with central exchanges that has an oversight from certified audits, proof of proof of your reserves. So that's why I think as a starter, central exchanges I think is a safe choice for most of the people.
Do you have any counter argument from that side?
So we should answer now or wait for Axel?
You can answer it now.
Okay. Yeah. So actually, Youngsun point is quite clear, and I also agree with that because I cannot say bad things about tax. I'm from BItget, but I also have BItget, right? But to be honest, from my side, actually, it's fully centralized is also not good. You still need to have access or collaboration with decentralized. Why? Because Youngsun said before, for the custodian, or you have your own money put on the central exchange. But the problem is you didn't have 100% access to your assets because you still need have permission from the checks, right? Platform. It's different if you use a wallet. You can own your own private key, separate keys, and then as long as there is internet, you can access your own assets. You can transfer anytime, anywhere. It's different if you go with the checks. If there is some problem with the checks, you know, we have like that story before with several central exchanges. I cannot say a lot, all exchanges same. We have like a lot of credibility exchanges. So that's why you still need to use DEX to be decentralized.
Do you have anything about it, Mr. Axel, before I go to
Yeah, probably I just want to emphasize regarding this tax and tax. Because basically Indonesia is still kind of starting to understand this right? Yeah. So I believe that tax will be the first stage to do. So we can start from tax because tax is easier, more secure. We have like more liquidity provider and absolutely basically tax is for more like more professional or more
and facts?
yeah fast. Yeah, I think that's from my side.
For some of the points, for example, in terms of being something that they are going to be really familiar with, that's going to be something that people really want to be able to try out. So for example, if they want to explore something new, whether it's going to be social websites or any kind of projects, whether it's going to be financials, people want to be able to try it in a way that they feel like they've actually been using it for a long time. For, like you've mentioned, for most of the centralized exchanges, it's going to be something that people really need to learn more before they actually get to be able to familiarize what they're trying to use or how they want to use what is being provided to them. In terms of the other aspect of, let's say, something where they're going to be comfortable with, they want to be able to also have this kind of sentimental and psychological experience wherein if they were to use an exchange, whether it's going to be centralized or decentralized, they would know that they're going to be confident in what they're using, whether it's going to be in terms of safety, security, or rather than just overall experience in terms of usability of the exchange itself. And like that have been mentioned earlier, a lot of decentralized exchanges are going to be harder to use and more shifted or aligned to people that actually know more about or have really a lot of knowledge about about the Web3 space in general. Actually, this is something that we're already doing. We're trying to take GRVT or GRVT, wherein we really want to be able to allow users to have the best of both centralized exchange and the best of the decentralized exchange as well. So for example, in terms of security, like you've mentioned, right, if your email, or for example, if your wallet gets hacked, you have no way to be able to get it unless you know the keys to your wallet or whatnot. And that's what we're trying to do in Gravity, wherein you are able to actually register your email as well as your wallet altogether, so that if you do lose access to your wallet, you're going to be able to still access the same account of your email address. So this is something that we're trying to play around with. The system is not yet perfect. There are still some kind of loopholes, or I'm not going to say loopholes, but rather some kind of feature that needs to be polished with. But generally, I think if we're going to be able to provide all of the users that we have in the Web3 space the best of decentralized and centralized exchanges all together, it's actually going to make the exchange space way better than what we already have. For example, centralized exchanges have the best that people already going to. Others, for decentralized exchanges, they want to have the best features that the people actually prefer to go to. And if we're able to connect that all together, I would say the exchange space in general is going to get better and going to be more competitive, or actually I would say more competitive, not really Web3 itself, but also towards Web2 applications that they're actually trying to also make better.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all of you guys for the opening arguments. Now, I wanted to give you guys a thing, so it would feel really like a debate. So the first pressure point would be about trust and regulation. I will give you the statement. The statement is, this panel believes that despite custodial risk, only centralized exchange can achieve the regulatory compliance, institutional trust, and capital security standards necessary for global mass adoption. Maybe Youngsun, since you are holding the mic.
Well, obviously, as a government side, opposition side, I would say that as it stands, the motion should stand because of the nature of the decentralized exchanges and the philosophy or ethos of the decentralized exchanges are unable to actually regulate or make measures into specific wallets, right? Because that would kill their basic existential ethos. Because if they start to blacklist like wallets and start to make central measures from a team perspective, that basically kills a lot of the value propositions that they are setting in front of the user base, saying, hey, your money is your money, your custody is your custody. But what if, oh, you know what, you can't actually pull your money out of your wallet once your contract is wrapped on Hyperliquid because we see an issue there. Well, like, what's the point of having your custodial wallet if you get those central measures done? But the issue here is we have to realize also we have a lot of rogue players on the Web3 market. We've seen Upbit hacked by likely Lazarus or the likes of Lazarus recently, with all of their Solana funds getting depleted because the private keys were exposed. We've seen massive attempts of money laundering or dark money that is circulating through basically on-chain transactions, right? So what if the regulatory bodies or the governing bodies have asked you to make measures? Central exchanges are already equipped to make those measures as it stands because they're regulated on certain territories or they're abiding by the rules of those regulated jurisdictions. Whereas it's very unclear for decentralized exchanges because whose rules are you going to follow, or if you don't have any obligations to follow those rules. So as it stands, in today, I think central exchanges are much better equipped to be the trusted player, or to be the custodian that keeps the trust alive in a regulatory perspective. I'm not saying that's going to be a perpetual case. I'm saying on today, December 2025, that is the case.
Okay, that's from tech side. We you guys have any counter argument?
I would say that it's going to be like a sunny side of thing. For example, when we look into the centralized, let's start with the centralized exchange space. Way long before, centralized exchanges as well have not really been that compliant and have not really been having that kind of regulatory clearance that we do have right now with centralized exchanges. I would say that's going to be actually where we are right now on the decentralized exchange space as well. For example, before, our description of a centralized exchange is very different compared to what we have right now. So I would say as well that in the long term, as we progress in terms of regulatory clearance for a centralized exchange, where we're actually getting some kind of regulatory compliance already or regulatory clearance as well, is that the description for the centralized exchange, I would say, will also be shifting from time to time. Do we really say that the centralized exchange is going to be wherein we are actually going to be a space where we allow all of the bad actors to be able to play within the space? Because as I see it, the decentralized exchange or the centralized space in general have already been trying to combat bad actors. So if we were actually a decentralized exchange or a decentralized space where we were seeing the description a long time ago, we would actually say that, oh, yeah, the bad actors do bad things. This is a decentralized space. But now we're actually doing things within the space itself to be able to combat them. It's going to be the same thing that we're going to be seeing in the centralized exchange. We are going to be trying to have some kind of regulatory clearance, whether it's not going to be 100%, maybe it's going to be through know your business or through know your address, as long as we're going to be able to provide some kind of clarity to the users and to the people or the government where the exchange is going to be running from. I would say that's going to be a good thing nonetheless.
Thank you. And then Mr. Vincent. Talking about regulatory, especially in Indonesia, what do you think about?
Imagine that you are an institutional player, you are a company that you would like to invest in crypto. You will not invest in black boxes. You have to look place that you are investing in, like centralized exchange, they are regulated, they are fully compliant, they are also having a backbone, having a asset back, and everything else that making sure that the asset they will invest is safe. It is quite hard from what banks have, right? Even though they are pushing the security now, they are pushing the everything else to make sure that the customer is protected. But from the regulatory standard, it's still far behind from systems. Yeah, that's my big.
Thank you, Mr. Vincent. And then Mr. Stephanus, since you have one section, one text.
Stop with that problem. That's fine. So the most interesting part is for the regulation of Indonesia, especially it's quite strict. Even for government, they already know about this industry. Actually, sometimes they're also quite supporting with this industry. They also still That's why you see import the DEX or the DeFi can get like into the regulation or something like that. So I think that's the most interesting part of DeFi or DEX. You can just, to be honest, it's borderless. Like I have a discussion with yeah, with GRVT. In Philippines, there also have strict regulation, but for wallet, for DAX, you can just do transaction or something like that because it's borderless. And I know fully decentralized is also not good. You still need to have centralized. So the best thing is combine both checks and DAX. And I believe in the futures, right now it's still pretty early, and I believe like in the next, maybe we can have like more data than only checks on DAX. Maybe we can comment. That's why a lot of checks also have their own wallet, including me from BItget wallet, right? So yeah, I believe for valuation or for the trust, for DAX right now, for security also is getting better. Even for before, yeah, there's a lot of gap before. If you want to do transaction for safety or other things, everything with DAX not that good. But for now, it's already improved. Even it's almost compared with checks. If you want to do the transaction, it's already quite fast. For the gas fee, it's also cheap. Almost same. Checks also have the trading fee, right? So what's different?
Plus spread.
Yeah, that's right. Playing safe.
Okay.
There's another things, even for BItget, if you said before, from Youngsun, I just want to say, you said like for the massive adoption checks, it's maybe more easier because you need to save your separate key or private key. Actually, right now, if we BItget work, we also already have like social media login, so actually everything is already seamless even for DeFi. That's all.
That's a nice one. And then last from this direction.
It seems I agree with all the
Hey, you are from check side.
because as we can see that every text right now integrate their wallet, they launch their wallet. Yeah. So basically we are heading there. But if I could say that probably in terms of the states, in terms of the regulatory, as for now probably the text will be better. In terms of the structure and everything. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rex. Trend and transaction pass to become the preferred gateway for the next billion crypto users. So I will go to Mr. Stephanus first.
Alright, so for next, I believe for the next it will be huge user adoption, user acquisition. That's why BItget also going to Indonesian market, and that's why I'm also here as a growth manager in Indonesia. So we believe for Indonesia right now it's really a potential market. You know, the population is really huge here. It's more than 200 million. And if we can just, let's say, can get like 10% or 50%, it's really 20 million to 50 million people, right? So that's why the first things that we are doing right now, through education, or actually for education, it's also can collab with checks or something like that. But to be honest, right now, what is the benefit or maybe let's say can get good adoption? Right now, there is more easier to have your wallet with DAX. You don't need to have a lot of things for KYC or something. I know that is one of the most important things, but I think for DAX right now also already have a really good security. Even we already have like secret KYC and security protection, and also a lot of auditing or something like that. So I believe for the users, the newbie, they're also building more easier using the X because the UI is also more simple. You know, if you go to the X, it's almost same like if you are from Indonesia, you know Dana, right? wallet, Dana wallet, it's almost same like Dex wallet. So it's very familiar for the new users. So I think that's really have the huge potential. Even if you want to do swap, on chain, cross on chain, it's more easier if you're using Dex. And even sometimes you want to do name or media. A lot of Indonesian people love to trade in.
Yeah.
You should go to on-chain first. If you go to checks, I think the price is almost going down. So if you want to make
It's always too late.
use
Okay, Youngsun, do you have any take on this?
Well, I have 2 points in contention, but to just kind of clarify, I think like they pointed out pretty correctly that there's no such thing as a pure 100% pure 100% DEX anymore, because most of the exchanges like BItget or even like MEXC, they're implementing on-chain features already. So are they like the SEX or a DEX? It really depends on how you look at it. Like if you look at it from like a BItget wallet perspective or like OKX wallet perspective, they might be like a decentralized wallet DEX. But like overall, like the whole product suite can be called as a centralized product. So there is a bit of a nuance as to like from which direction we're moving on to. I'm just thinking that as a foundational layer, centralized exchanges are kind of like the better foundations to build upon those decentralized features. So that's kind of like the onset context that I want to set as my stance here on the stage. From a UX perspective, I come from a product background. I used to work at companies like Uber, or I don't know if you guys know like a South Korean e-commerce giant like Coupon. The number one philosophy of making a good product UX is that you make users work less while you work more on the back end. So that's a very simple philosophy that applies to all of the products. Now let's say for a Venmo, for example, all you need to do is like click send to your contact friends. On the back end, they need to figure out how the funds are stored, moved, and like maybe they need to create like some type of a proxy account, right? All of that work that the users never need to know. So I do the work for you, although it might seem like it's not a fully liberating experience for some users. Not all users enjoy full choices of being able to choose from 1,000 coins that have the same ticker, but only one is the correct one. So that's kind of like my philosophy around the product UX, is that you can have a central wrapper around whatever the decentralized aspect, and if you do it right, people will still enjoy it, even though it's not fully on-chain contractual basis that you need to sign. But I mean, like, this is something of a, I would say, contentional claim, because you're essentially saying that you're going to do the contractual abstraction for the users. It's a dangerous line, but this is just my personal take on those type of words.
So maybe, Youngsun, maybe a follow-up question. Right now, text model is offering like instant execution and superior liquidity. And how do you guys plan? Maybe it's for the all of the tech side. How do you guys plan to stay relevant in an industry pushing towards self-custody? Like DEX is always pushing the self-custody, and are DEX now becoming too similar to traditional finance, or what do you think about it? Axel, maybe, or Mr. Vincent?
So, from my point of view, the simplicity of centralized aspect is not a flow. I think it is a feature that you need to pursue. We're not aiming to become the TradeFi 2.0. We're trying to get users, like Youngsun mentioned before, we're trying to simplify all of the aspects, all of the complexities in the Web3 for users, not to users, but without them even knowing. I think that's the path that we are currently pursuing. So I think the simplicity is not the flow. It is a feature.
Okay, Mr. Axel.
Okay, my thought on this because is yeah, some of basically what Youngsun said previously is correct because I'm not him, right? Okay? It is quite hard. Probably I could say like we kind of search something, some item in the huge e-commerce. After you paste the wallet address, it will or the name, it will be consist of some of the almost the same figure, right? And probably you got robbed from it. Yeah, in text, it is like a curated one. So probably for new users it will be easier. Yeah, probably it will be simplified how the new users will use or try this kind of investigation.
Thank you. Now, Louis, you have the honor. Louis, you have the honor to close this motion before we move on to the
Actually,
second
for
one.
me, I would just like to bring it up. I'm not sure if you guys have been able to realize it, but I like how the discussion is going. Because actually, whenever a question is asked, the way of how we are actually progressing to the topic is we are talking about the centralized exchanges, and then rather than competing with ourselves, we actually bring
Supporting
up
each other.
other local use cases instead of rather trying to actually battle each other, which I think is actually a good sign. Now I actually want to be able to see how both the centralized and decentralized exchanges should work all together. Now, in terms of, like Youngsun already mentioned earlier, UI UX is definitely going to be one of the biggest problems for decentralized exchanges. This is something that I think I'm not only aware of, only you guys are aware of, but I think the majority of people who are actually onboarding and already onboarded to Web3 are actually already aware of. And this is actually something that we are already trying to be able to realize. That's why right now we are actually able to see some decentralized exchanges using the UI UX that people are already well accustomed to, which is going to be based on centralized exchanges. If you need to aggregate a lighter and everything for gravity, we are actually changing the idea of how to onboard people based on how people have been able to be onboarded on centralized exchanges. This is why, like I've mentioned, I would say if the centralized exchange is bringing in a wallet, the centralized exchange wallets or decentralized wallets, this is also something that decentralized exchanges are bringing to it as well. They are maintaining their decentralization, but still pulling in some kind of centralized, or I would say maybe Web2 features that people are aware of, including maybe logins and social logins as well. Because this is something that would actually make everything seamless, make everything, starting from onboarding process, very easy rather than being hard for them to be able to understand where they want to be part of or where people are trying to be onboarded by whether it's going to be centralized or decentralized or decentralized exchanges. So I would say in general, the Web3 space is actually able to now understand what the people to actually are looking for. Because if you get to Web2, right, people are still understanding Web2. And then you're trying to onboard them to Web3 with a very, very different kind of understanding that they need to start from very beginning. Now you need to be able to actually be able to realize this even in terms of, let's say, forex trading or stock trading. Some people see this as scam in Web2. So what more in Web3? Now we just need to be able to realize this kind of expectations that we can expect from people that we are trying to onboard from one industry to another. And once we're able to realize this, I would say for both exchanges, it's going to be better and the onboarding is going to be seamless and the actual use case for everybody, whether it's going to be Web2 or Web3 alike, is going to be more global and more aggressive in expansion.
Okay, thank you, Louis. Thank you for bringing up coexistence. Okay, now the final motion is about coexistence. So my statement would be the future of digital asset trading is a clear hybrid model, where the success of a decentralized finance ecosystem is dependent on the role of compliant centralized exchange as the primary fiat and on-ramp. What do you think about it, Youngsun?
I think that's something that I was trying to get to for the entire duration of my panel, is that obviously decentralized exchange provides a lot of opportunities for users. The there's a reason why there's a higher yield on DeFi looping strategies versus traditional finance because there's more risk, but at the same time there's more opportunities. When the meme coin comes out, it's going to take ages for central exchanges to, make a market maker and provide liquidity and list it on their stock market. I think a good example of that was Trump, right? It took 3 days, almost 3 days for exchanges like BItget or Binance to list Trump on spot while everyone was just multiplying money on, Meteora or Phantom Wallet, just like swapping your soul to Trump would just make you 10x in overnight, right? Those opportunities, it's very hard for central exchanges to adopt with the speed of central exchanges where you don't need any permission to have any tokens up there. I think that's one of the catalyst moment where exchanges thought, oh shit, we also need to go on chain to have those opportunities provided to our users. But I think my point is that the foundational layer in which users will interact will probably have to be somewhat regulated with full compliance measures attached to it, because the normal user is very prone to these type of exploits, hacking, phishing, or one click on your contract. It's very bad UX at this point, to an extent where you're likely to lose money, get memed, get fished. So that's why I feel like a centralized measure to protect these users are even more important now than ever. But I do agree that the model should be much more hybrid than before. We're also exploring a lot of on-chain opportunities. I think the DeFi players are also improving a lot of UX. Aave has launched a mobile app recently. They're allowing users to literally just credit card, swipe to tap into the DeFi yields world. It's crazy. So I think we'll get there, but there needs to be more compliance measures attached to both players, which means that it's going to be centralized to an extent.
Thank you. Mr. Stephanus.
Alright, okay. So yeah, actually from my side, I totally agree. The budget should be hybrid. Even right now, a lot of players also agree with it. They have okay, I have tax and I have also DAX. And even for now, for DAX also it's already getting better. I know for the UI sometimes it's still quite annoying sometimes, but I think for now it's already better. And right now, what we can work at right now, if you want to top up before, you still need to go to checks and then transfer on chain to wallet. For now, we already can top up even using bank transfer. We have online partner, so I think for now it's also more seamless. Even for Indonesia, they can already top up using bank transfer or QR. But for now, we still cannot do any payment with QR because that's one of the regulations. We cannot do that. We still follow the regulation. Don't worry. So yeah, I believe also for checks, right now even they also already have a lot of features that DEX before, like earning, staking. Even people are using okay, decentralized give you a better yield. But right now I think a lot of checks, they also have a campaign where they can give you maybe up to 10% for US dollar, USDT, USDC. I think that's why not only DEX follow checks, but also both. Checks also looking why users using DEX move from checks. Alright, they give you better profit, better opportunity. So that's why they're also looking like the main things. Checks also need the volume, right? So they know a lot of me can bring a huge volume because a lot of people trade or something like that. So that's why checks also keep getting better and even also DEX. And finally we will excited even for Koinsayang or anything else. Even the most interesting part, if you using both DEX and checks, you can also make profit from arbitrage. So that's why the next product is especially building hybrid.
you, Mr. Vincent.
Well, I think if he's answering a good point from the incidents of Stephanus, but yeah, I agree with the point that Vincent made. Some also guys should also coexist because we're not company, but we're more like competing with each other. So for the backend users, they can start centralized exchange flows, and once they got crypto and they got knowledge, they can move the centralized one because as you mentioned, there are a lot of opportunities out there in the centralized exchange. But yeah, my final take is I think the winning economy is will be the one who adopt the synthesis of centralization and also bring the currency of the centralization.
Thank you. Do you have something to add? Axel?
Yeah, as for my take regarding this, that I believe the futures will be coexist, okay? Because like as I mentioned before, if you see that MEXC is one of the most coin in terms of all the global checks, we have like around probably three. And we still have DEX actually. Okay, so basically, I believe that whenever some projects come to us, okay, we need to have their white paper, okay, their white paper, their communities. So we curate them, okay. So, but I also agree that the futures will be a lot of DEX. DEX will perform better probably. It will be depending on the preference of the people who use it. Yeah, I think that's all for myself.
Okay, Louis, the last one.
I think for my side, having the necessary compliance or regulatory compliance requirements is going to be the most important thing. Because if you look into it, the people that we're mostly trying to report are coming in from a regulated space. And if you want to be able to collaborate with these companies or with data, be able to have the users really feel confident and comfortable when using the product, you need to have the necessary compliance and regulatory clearance that they are going to be looking for. Because if you look into it, the reason that we have Web3 is because, I would say maybe because of the Lehman Brothers or, you know, the dot-com bubble or whatever bubble we've been able to have on Web3 or the outcomes that we have had in Web2 is going to be some of the main things that people are trying to say, oh, because of this, you need to go to Web3. Now, those things happen because even though they were trying to have this accountability, during that time, the regulatory clearance and the regulations during that time were also quite vague. So this were some of the reasons why this kind of infamous events happened. And now we're trying to onboard them to Web3, where we're able to bring any kind of tokens and walk with everybody. Now, if that's going to be the case, we are not going to launch any kind of difference from where people are, from the reasons or why we are trying to pull people to Web3. Now, if we're able to have this regulatory compliance and regulatory clearance to be able to avoid this kind of infamous events happening in Web3, then we're going to be able to actually have a seamless collaboration with projects or with companies from Web2 to be able to have their user base be onboarded to Web3. Because right now, all of the collaborations is happening in Web3 to Web3. The collaborations from Web3 to Web2 are quite vague and quite slow, but if we're going to be having this kind of regulations, then I would say the expansion or the progress or how fast we are able to actually build exchanges are going to be better, faster, and of course going to be able to actually advertise to people to be able to use them and say, hey, we are providing here for a Centralized Exchange, we are providing here for a Centralized Exchange, and if you want to be able to use it, you're not going to have any kind of problems with anybody. Just feel free to come in, use our exchange, and be able to benefit from what we're able to offer you. So I would say that's really going to be the importance of having the necessary compliance and clearance.
Okay, thank you everyone. Now I have the final question for the entire panel. Looking ahead to, let's say, 2030, what single innovation that will be the most defining factor that shapes user behavior to your business model. Maybe you can start with Mr. Vincent. What will be the most defining factor that shifts user behavior to your preferred model?
And because I
30.
think the game changer in the industry will be the exchange of crypto will be as the payment infrastructure, as the payment method. I think the game changer in the future.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Youngsun.
So my personal take on like the future of crypto, I feel like, and I've seen this in a lot of analysis, as crypto's research report or other types of articles, is that two things, like tokenization and perpetuation of literally everything. So we're seeing some glimpse of this through prediction markets. Like you're betting and you're like tokenizing on things that like maybe like would Paris Hilton wear a pink dress tomorrow? So literally everything in the world is going to be a matter of financialization, and we're living in a world where like fiat currencies are basically inflating like crazy, so it's going to zero. My currency is going to zero every day, so I'm literally becoming poorer the day after day because my currency is just like being weaker versus US dollar, right? And the same thing is happening to most of the other countries, and we're not catching up as from a labor perspective to financial gains or asset building. Meaning that people will really want to basically build their assets or their funds and try to invest their way up. And once that happens, they would want to invest on different things. So tokenizing multiple things that have not been tokenized before is going to be massive. And I think perpetuifying things that haven't been perpetuified, leverage trading on things that weren't able to do it, is going to be a killer because we're already doing a lot of that. Like, right? Like if we see mortgages or on real estate, we're actually doing a perp trading on real estate because you're lending and you're buying based off of your lending, meaning that you're leveraging your trade. And I think that's going to get applied to many more assets or trading pairs in the coming decade. And it's going to just get like bigger and bigger.
Thank you, Youngsun. Mr. Axel.
Yeah, I agree with Vincent previously because what I want to say is already said. But I just want to ask, I want to add, probably tokenizing everything and real world assets will be the next future for Web3.
Thank you, Mr. Stephanus.
Yeah, I think almost all the point already said. Vincent, Youngsun, and also Excelsior. Yeah, I'm totally agree. Like a real asset, there is a tether here, right? That's why also tokenize. Even if you already more users can use it, like right now. I think why Dubai right now is very rich and very popular because at that time, back in the days, they almost collapsed because they blockchain all the property and got a lot of investment from global, so that's why they are now one of the most rich and the most modern country. And I think if we can implement that in Indonesia already as global, I think that will be a game changer for Web3, including for tax or maybe tax in crypto industry.
Yeah, so from my side, I would say, already mentioned, Youngsun, to be honest, Youngsun has already been able to actually discuss most all of the things that I would say everybody in the panel would want to discuss. So that's going to be about trying to really onboard everything into the blockchain, whether it's going to be for transparency reasons or whether it's going to be for us to be able to see what other features are we going to be able to unlock on a certain product that we're trying to put in onto the blockchain. Like you've mentioned, prediction market, we've already been able to see it, RWAs, tokenizations, everything we're trying to do to be able to not see only the transparency of it, but also to be able to see what kind of other benefits or advantages we can have with these products through the blockchain itself. So I would say, I would say even institutions are able to actually see this. That's why they're slowly coming in to Web3. And then as regulations come in, of course, clearances, these institutions and normal users are going to be able to also learn more about Web3 and not only learn about centralized exchanges or something anything related to Web 2.5, but actually dive deep into what technologies are about.
Okay, thank you everyone. Before we conclude, let me summarize the powerful insight we've heard. Both centralized and decentralized exchanges play critical roles in the evolution of digital assets. So the future will depend on how much each model adapts to user needs, security demands, and regulatory expectation. Through innovation and collaboration, the industry can build a trading ecosystem that is safer, more transparent, and accessible to both institution and everyday users. My deepest thanks to our exceptional panels. Let's give a round of applause for everyone here. There is Vincent, Youngsun, Axel, Stephanus, and Louis. Thank you.
Yay! Thank you so much. Never thank you so much. Kita foto dulu. Let's have a group photo together. Kamera, tim dokumentasi, social media. Silakan bisa mengambil posisi. Let's have a picture together. In 3, 2, 1. Tahan. Nathan boleh gaya yang lebih seru? Iya. Cheerful. 1, 2, 3. Video mau ngambil? Oke. Waving ya. Kasih wave ke kamera videonya. Oke, kamera siap. Iya. Oke, we got it. Thank you so much, panelists. Thank you, our moderator. A very insightful session. Terima kasih banyak. It's been a pleasure for us to witness the hot discussion, the debate. Yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you again in the next session. Yes, thank you all to our panelists, moderator, for an insightful debate on the future of central exchange versus emerging decentralized exchange. Iya, diskusi hari ini benar-benar membuka perspektif baru ya tentang bagaimana ekosistem kripto berkembang, sekaligus menyoroti peluang dan tantangan yang ada. Semoga insight yang diberikan tadi bisa menjadi boosting spirit kita untuk menyongsong 2024 ke depan atau langkah ke depannya. Oke, sebelum kita lanjut ke sesi berikutnya, saya mau menyapa teman-teman yang baru datang. Hi guys, welcome to Indonesia Blockchain Week 2025. Silakan yang baru datang bisa bergabung langsung, bisa menyusuri booth-booth yang ada, bisa explore yang banyak, atau juga bisa langsung gabung ke Central Stage. Let's enjoy, it's okay, nggak apa-apa, just continue. Kita akan lanjut untuk sesi berikutnya. There will be a keynote speaker from us, akan kita present juga. Tapi kita mau undang juga teman-teman yang baru hadir untuk bisa bergabung ke depan. Yuk, sini silakan, karena keynote speaker berikut ini akan very insightful sekali. Dan juga tambahan info teman-teman. Di ruang sebelah, di acara di bagian conference hall, sedang berlangsung juga debat mengenai live as traders, idealist or big possibility dengan moderatornya MEXC, di mana di debaternya ada top 5 trading competition. Jadi silakan bagi yang teman-teman curious dengan apa yang dibahas, bisa juga bergabung di sebelah. Ladies and gentlemen, we also invite you to join the conference hall at the site of the exhibition hall to witness the debate, a very insightful debate that happened in the conference hall. Baiklah, teman-teman hadirin sekalian, our member of Web3 community, blockchain traders, innovators. Up next, we have a very special keynote from Mr. Marco Alberto from Audience, who will share their vision and deep insights on the evolving landscape of digital asset and the future of blockchain innovation. Jadi, coming up next, our speaker ini, Mr. Marco Alberto from Audience, akan sharing visinya dan juga insight yang mendalam tentang evolving landscape of digital asset, perubahan landscape dari aset-aset digital, dan juga bagaimana masa depan inovasi blockchain ke depannya. So this will be a very insightful karena akan berisi juga forecast dan juga ke depannya seperti apa. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please let's give a warm welcome as we dive into this inspiring session. Please welcome on the stage, Mr. Marco Alberto.
Thanks everyone. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Let me introduce myself. My name is Marco Iaverone. I'm the R&D director at Audience. In this presentation, that should show up the slide again, is entitled Understanding Crypto Through the Lens of Complexity and Information. The goal of this presentation is to give an overview about the complexity of the crypto market. As not a commercial goal, I'm going to introduce to Audience our platform, but from a scientific perspective, not from the perspective of business or commercial, just to discuss first why it is important to look at the crypto market, considering problems related to complexity and information, and then I will jump into Audience showing how it can be used as a tool, in particular for traders, investors, and crypto enthusiasts. So let's start. First of all, why complexity is important within this topic, and what is complexity? Complexity, or complex system framework, is something new from the scientific perspective. It's a combination of cross-disciplinary area which allow to study different phenomena, both natural and social phenomena. For instance, the emergent behavior, interaction dynamics, structural property, no matter if you are studying a flock of birds, if you are studying people at the stadium, or if you are studying social networks. Structural property, for instance, allow you to understand why information spread in a particular way on a social network, just measuring relevant quantities like the degree distribution, like the clustering coefficient, like the best way to move from one node to another one. And once you understand how information spread in this context, probably you can better understand a lot of other processes. And this is super important when you try to understand this role in crypto. Then, why is it important for our purpose? Because the crypto market, at all the effect, is a complex system. And why the crypto market is a complex system? It's a complex system for a series of features which characterize it in this way. For instance, it's composed by a huge amount of heterogeneous agents and actors. You consider, for instance, miners, investors, crypto owners, crypto holders, and so on and so forth. Then there are thousands of interacting digital assets, each one with a specific design, with specific functionalities, and so on, which interact among them. There are cross-system interaction. What does it mean? The crypto market is not a closed system. You know, there are US elections, depending on the results, the market is going up or down. So, social effect, political effect actually contribute to this phenomenon, and we have to be aware and try to measure this effect if we want to understand better what to do as the next step. And then there are emerging patterns, like in the market. For instance, you have a bullish trend, bearish trend, and you can implement mathematical methods in order to understand how to deal and how to predict the market. So for these reasons, the crypto market is complex, and if it's complex, then you need the right tool in order to extract information from data. Okay, it's a complex system, we have a lot of data, and to extract information, we have to be sure that we are able to remove the noise. In very general terms, when you approach this problem from a scientific perspective, what you do is you have already a model, like for